Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Meerkat Musings. Welcome back to a Meerkat Muse, another sort of sporadic Meerkat Muse, as it were. And welcome to thoughts that really stretch across pretty much all of July. Although, yeah, you can, of course, see the breakdown of that on Meerkat Musings itself. And as we move to the end of July, I'm left to reflect upon the fact that 2026 has fewer days ahead than it has behind, and what is in store for what remains. July has certainly seen change at work, without question, and that's with luck change for the better. Having endured much of June on my own at work, and having had periods in July where I've faced the same thing for one reason or another, we are, with luck, as we push onward into August, going to have a stable team. And what that means going forward is hopefully good times. Although I will be very much upfront, I am still looking around because, as I have said many times before, it's prudent to have a plan B. And I just think, well, I don't particularly want to keep on being in a kind of what at times feels like a grindy situation. I mean, I'm not going to lie, things feel better than they did, but nonetheless, the way that my employer treated my previous manager was very, very poor, in my view. It has left a sour taste in my mouth, and is this the sort of company I want to work for in the long run? Well, I mean, in light of what they've done, it makes you think, what will they do? And therefore, no, I can't say that it's necessarily a long-term thing. Of course, needs must. I mean, ultimately, I have a responsibility to my wife and especially my daughter. So if it means I have to suck it up and stay in a job that doesn't bring me much joy, I will stay in a job that doesn't bring me much joy. And so be it. And like I say, things have improved. Things have improved in terms of sheer workload, I guess. And you could say they've improved in the right way. There's been a bit less in the way of what I would term to be faffy stuff, and more in terms of what I kind of feel the job is all about, which is helping people and serving customers and getting sales. So that's been a step forward. I mean, in no small part due to the fact that where there are now 4 of us, we can spread the load a bit. However, with that said, I presently very much occupy the title of most experienced person in the showroom. The second most experienced person, well, to look at it this way, so I have more than 6.5 years of experience with my current employer and in my current location. The next closest colleague to me in terms of experience has about 7 or 8 months worth of experience, and most of that has been at another branch. I'm only just transferred to the same store as me. The next one along has something approaching about a month's worth of experience, and the next one along has, at the time of recording this, 2 days. So yeah, I'm in a situation where I'm by far and away the most experienced person in that showroom. I'm not necessarily the most experienced person in terms of doing design work and that kind of thing, because my new manager has a background in doing kitchen design, and the new colleague who's only been there a couple of days, they have experience with designing like sort of home offices and sort of fitted furniture and that kind of thing. But when it comes to bathroom related stuff, I'm by far and away the most experienced person there. And that's a blessing and a curse, isn't it, really? I mean, on the one hand, it means I will be turned to for help and guidance. On the other hand, it means I'm going to be turned to for help and guidance. And sometimes I really rather not be relied upon for such purposes. But it is what it is, as I always say. So, yeah, what is the situation going forward? I don't know. Interestingly enough, my new manager, they're going away on holiday for a couple of weeks at the beginning of August, so it will be down to me and the two relatively inexperienced, or in one case very inexperienced colleagues, to run the show and make sure everything continues in an upward curve, and we'll see how that pans out. It'll be an interesting sort of challenge, I guess, and we'll see what plays out in that respect. So that's work, really, in a nutshell. All change, very much so. It feels like it's been a very long time between my previous colleagues leaving and all of this. I mean, the reality is it's been a couple of months, which I guess, when you have worked on your own on a great many occasions in a grindy situation that was demoralising, that can feel like a long time, and it has felt like a long time. But in the grand scheme of things, it's not really been that much much time. I mean, to be fair, one of those sort of new colleagues did sort of turn up at the end of June, early July. So realistically, I was on my own for about a month before I had company, and yeah. So, but nonetheless, it feels like there's been a lot of time has passed between, I guess, like the old situation and the new one, and it's surreal, to be honest. But enough about work, or enough about the day job, I should say. Let's talk a little bit about the other job, my preferred job, my dream job, which is, of course, the realm of writing and publishing science fiction novels. Those of you who have tracked Meerkat Musings will know that my arrangement with my publisher came to an end at the beginning of July, which was a bit of a kick in the teeth. I'm not going to lie; it was quite gutting to have that kind of unfold. I had hopes and expectations that, in fact, we'd be going through with publishing my books in August, and now, of course, that plan, it is gone, and that arrangement is gone. I don't want to strike a sour note, because I do owe this publisher, Jumpmaster Press, a great deal of thanks for taking me on in the first place, for helping me to develop and polish my work, and for them to be brave enough to put their name against it. Because, in the end, it was a risk for them as much as you could argue it was a risk for me. So I do owe them a great deal. I am very thankful for the opportunity they gave me. I'm a bit gutted it came to an end. I understand why. And we move on, we move forward, we push on. Because if we stop, then we really have failed. So I've self-published, once again, The Awakening and the Schism, parts 1 and 2 of the Chonif Saga. And I have ambitions to get part 3 out there, of course, as well. But prior to that, there is something else coming, and that will be coming. I still plan to bring this out in August. My desire is to release The Forest at some stage in August and kickstart what I kind of look at as my big multiverse adventure. So, that is the hope. I have put in a request for a beta reading of that from a team of volunteers. So, it's something that will take a bit of time. It could be that the release moves back as a result, but I do want to make sure that when I finally release this, it's how I want it to be. And in the meantime, part 3 of the Chonif Saga, ideally I need to get it edited in some way, shape or form, somehow. And in the meantime of all of that, I might yet hear back from another publisher, as I reached out to quite a few and have faint hopes, shall we say, But sometimes a small hope is better than no hope. So we'll see how that goes. I did actually, and I've done a video about this, I actually had a response from one publisher. However, this was something that I'd heard stuff in the ether about this particular company, and when they sent through the contract, it sort of confirmed what I suspected. And it's basically a business model that definitely doesn't suit the average author, the average writer. There is such a thing as vanity publishing, and the idea behind that is that the author pays the publisher up front for, among other things, the editing process, the promotional stuff, the printing, as it were, and basically sort of all that kind of jazz. And the price, I mean, the cheapest price, and I think this was it basically for like an ebook and paperback arrangement to come back to me from this particular publishing house, was £3,100. Now, I don't have £3,000 sitting around to invest in this kind of thing. If I did, then I might be looking to editorial services in some way, shape or form, I'm not going to lie. But I wouldn't be looking at that kind of investment with a publisher with absolutely zero guarantee of a good return, because there isn't one. I understand that a publisher will invest a lot of time and effort into someone's work, and for a lot of publishers, they operate via the traditional model. They are not guaranteed returns on that investment. They will make money when you make money, basically, because they'll take a cut of the royalties from your book. But in that model, at least everyone's in the same boat. And so it's in everyone's interests to promote and push and market the book. As an author, you have as much responsibility for that as the publisher in a traditional kind of model and arrangement. Equally, you could argue the publisher has the same kind of responsibility if they want the books in their portfolio to succeed. In the vanity model, the publisher pockets thousands of pounds from you, and then what? They already have a lot of money. What's the incentive for them to crack on? Is there incentive for them to crack on? And so, might the efforts be half-hearted for the sake of appearance? And are you ever going to receive a return in that investment? So I'm not a fan of the vanity model from an author perspective, and I ended up rejecting the contract once I realised what it was. So we'll continue to wait and see on the publisher front and see what pans out. But in the meantime, I'm exploring avenues to make sure that my work stays out there through some kind of means. So at least it's on the radar, which is better than obviously not being on the radar. So it's out there. People are going to see it, and hopefully it will remain, insofar that it ever was, in the public consciousness somehow. And yeah, so that's kind of where we're at with the two, if you like, main work aspects of my life. Not that I really consider writing books to be work, because I really don't. I mean, sometimes it can feel a bit laborious, I'm not going to lie, but it's not like the day job, which has delivered all kinds of stress and hassle, especially in the past kind of like 6 months or so. So yeah, that's the work front, so to speak. But what about the home front? Well, things have been, I guess you might just say, steady. I guess. I mean, in the wake of things that were going on in respect to my daughter, she's absolutely fine. We do have a trip up to London scheduled for what will hopefully be the final meeting and chat about all the stuff that went on, and then we can draw a permanent line underneath it. And because this appointment in London is quite early, it's 9:30 in the morning, which unfortunately, bearing in mind it's in London, means an early start. It feels like a lot of my days off lately, I'm having early starts, which is disgruntling, but there you go. We'll be in London. We've got a matinee performance booked for a stage version of Now You See Me. We'll see how that can compare to the films. I'm not sure at all what it's based on. Is it like a new, unique story? Is it not really a story as such, a magic? I don't know. I don't know what to expect from it. I mean, it should be good. Thankfully, it's a matinee, so we'll be out of there at a reasonable point, and then we can be home at a reasonable point as well. And other than that, really, there hasn't been a huge amount of stuff going on. I mean, I've had one or two occasions that I could have done without, such as having to build a dressing table, which was a frustrating experience. But hey ho, it's just one of those things. I mean, as much as it does sometimes frustrate me, sometimes you have to give up a bit of time for other people. And, especially when you have a family, sometimes, you kind of feel that you need your time because, I go to work 5 days a week every week, and I'm going to be doing that for a great many years to come. And sometimes, to me, the best days off are the quiet ones, the ones where we don't go anywhere and don't do anything, the ones where we just laze around in the house. And I operate at my own pace, and I'm not kind of beholden to going here and everywhere. I prefer that sometimes, and sometimes I prefer to do things. Sometimes it is nice to pop into London, even if we're popping into London because we have to, for the most part. But we've managed to find a way to at least find something to do. And like I say, hopefully that will then draw a line underneath the entire kind of very stressful saga of the past few months. And we can just kind of crack on, so to speak. And that's pretty much it, really. Looking ahead once more to August, one thing that I have got planned, actually it's going to happen tomorrow, as it happens, is I have a new tattoo scheduled at last. Not what I originally wanted, because the tattoo artist unfortunately doesn't have the right colour ink and can't get it. A bit frustrating, but these things do happen. So I'm going for something else, and we may or may not choose that occasion to see the new Spider-Man film as well, which is about to come out. That will come down to, I suppose, the timing of that will come down to the timing of the tattoo and how long it takes. So I don't know really with what we'll get away with, I suppose, because the odds are that it will be busy with Spider-Man, especially as it's the summer holidays. So it's not like we can sneak in whilst everyone else is at school, where we're going to be a little bit potentially stuck in that regard. We'll see how it pans out. I mean, we might be lucky and get seats quite easily just strolling up to the cinema. It's hard to know sometimes with these things. And then beyond that, I don't really know what is going to happen, really. I mean, August, one of the things that my mum has asked me about more than once is whether or not my wife, daughter and I would like a little break somewhere. It's tricky to organise that when my manager is off for the first half of August. One thing did occur to me, however, it would be literally at the very end of August and rolling into September, but I need to discuss that idea further. However, it would involve going somewhere that I think has always looked very beautiful. It would involve getting to do a fun little train ride, which I always enjoy. And it might involve an activity that we did in Sicily that was really quite special. But in this case, we'll be doing it off the northeast coast of England, and not the natural place that I would have expected to do this thing, but we'll see how it all pans out. I mean, we might not do anything, and we might not be able to do anything for a number of reasons. I don't know. I mean, I think we will. I hope we will. If not, we'll find something else to do. And I think that really is well and truly it. I will aim, of course, to continue to update regarding the books and stuff. I really hope to have the opportunity in August to publish The Forest in some way, shape or form. Initially, this was going to be in probably in electronic form, but you never know. I might release it first as a paperback. I don't know. And the arrangement I've got now, because I'm now doing a lot of stuff through Ingram Spark, and I'm not sure what they like if I'm trying them out, might still yet see my self-published stuff turn up in bookshops. And I can't say that for certain, but that is my ambition, my hope. And I might even have a chat with my local bookshop about it. Local author in a local bookshop makes sense. So all of that's in the ether. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens at work. And we'll go from there. Until next time, people, take care. Love to you all.